There's the city skyline you can see in front of us there. Or part there of it anyway. The actual central business district of Melbourne is approximately a mile square. And I was telling some of the other students when we were talking outside the coach, the city centre, the central business district of the city is all built on a grid pattern. All these streets run right angle to one another. All of the major streets, the big streets, are all 99 feet wide, nice and wide, a bit about the same width of this freeway here, these 4 lanes. They have intersecting laneways travelling from south to north, which are the entrances to the rear of the properties, either facing south in those main streets or north in those main streets. And that's how people got into their stables and the rear of their properties when the houses were built on the main streets themselves. But it's a totally commercial and retail central business district now. There's very little, or well, there's actually no private ownership of housing, but there have been in the last 15 years lots of apartments and condominiums or flats, or we call them apartments and flats and things like that, that have been built there because we now have a living population living in the central business district, which we never had historically before. It was always just a commercial centre, and at 5:30 every day, boom, the population would go out to the suburbs, such as what's surrounding us here, which are known as the inner suburbs of Melbourne, and then the outer suburbs extend to the east some 54 kilometres, to the south around the coastline over 60 kilometres, and out to the north, because of the volcanic plain and the amount of rock that's a few centimetres under the topsoils, it's very slow and expensive to put infrastructure in those areas, and that's the slowest growing areas of Melbourne, although now becoming one of the fastest growing areas. With modern machinery it's much easier to do. So the suburbs extend out here now about 30 odd kilometres. And just useless trivia, I was born in a house right here where we are now, right here, bang. But of course the freeway wasn't there then. So this is where I was born, just 4 miles out from the central business district of Melbourne. Way back when, excuse the language, but this is what Australians would say, when JC was fullback for Collingwood. And that's a long time, ago.
What? Jesus Christ.
When your grandmother was a twinkle in your great-grandfather's eye, probably. So we're coming through some street sculpture here, depicting the waving fields of wheat that were grown out to the west where the airport is in its early days. The big gold shaft jutting across the road is a representation of the gold taken out of the triangle of gold in central Victoria around Ballarat, Ararat, Bendigo, Castlemaine, all of those very wealthy gold fields that were discovered back in the 1850s. And the red columns are representations of from the 18th century to the 21st century, or the amount of cones on a shearer's shearing equipment. So whichever one you want to take, you can have. This is our western processional avenue. We have another 3 of these processional avenues, which are the same format. There are approximately 10 lanes of traffic, but are now occupied by trams and bicycle lanes and everything like that, which changes the format on some of them differently. But the road structure is practically the same, with plantations. The edges of the streets are tree lined with beautiful elm trees and such. This is the western one. We have the northern one, which is the main road up to Sydney. And then we have a southern one which goes right down around our coastal way, which is a very beautiful boulevard called St Kilda Road. And then the eastern one is Victoria Parade. So these all radiate north, south, east and west from the top of the city up here in front of us.
A whole lot of colours.
The university campus and the university area is just up beyond these gardens, at the end of these gardens on our right hand side. These gardens, I'm sorry, on our left hand side, and on the correct side I should say. We this had quite an American history here actually. The largest American military base during the Second World War was situated in this parkland here on our left. It was known as Camp Pell, and we had very large American military bases here when General MacArthur brought his troops here in 1942, and this base was very large. It was named in honour of a Major Pell, who was one of the first American pilots that was killed during the Japanese invasion of Darwin in the 1940s, 42. And the invading Japanese fleet was the same fleet that had just before that had attacked Pearl Harbor. So he tried to counterattack from the air base at Darwin, was shot down and killed with many others, and the base here was named in his honour. So it has an American history here, and just up near your accommodation, a big general hospital that we had built and was just about completed at that time was handed over to MacArthur, who wanted a hospital so as he could medevac injured people from the Pacific theatre of war up in the Pacific Ocean. From those battles there, they were shipped down here and cared for in the Royal Melbourne Hospital here for the next 2 years, which was an American hospital. So we have a history together, which we still do today, where we share in those efforts all around the world.
What's the state called, Victoria?
There's our trams. If you see down the middle of the road where the trams run, you'll see the structure that we're driving past now. They're called safety zones. So if you're going to catch a tram, you catch it out in the middle of the road, but you don't walk out there and stand there until the tram sort of virtually gets there. You can go out there like these people on this next corner, and they're standing there waiting for the next tram to come, and the rails sort of keep them safe from oncoming traffic. And they catch the tram on this side of the road where they're standing to go to the way that we're facing now, and they would go across the other side of the intersection and stand on the other side if they want to go back the other way. If you see what I'm saying there, can you recognise that fact?